Okay, bit of a dilemma here. When you book match something, you saw it along its length, you open it up and the two surfaces are virtually identical. You join them together and those surfaces are what you see, as I did on the head overlay. Now, the further you get away from that cut, the more the grain pattern changes. So if we go the other way, i.e. that surface and that surface, oh, that's my dehumidifier just clicking in, you can see that they're quite a bit different. There's a funny shape happening here which isn't there. You've got this bit here, it's not there. So that's the dilemma I've got with the back here. Now, these are the two surfaces which were joined together, opened up, and you should be able to see there are two kind of these little knots here. There's a black line coming down here which is kind of here, and you can see that sort of figuring is similar either side. So that's the surface that I want to see on the outside of the instrument. The other side, you can see there's a little bit of that knot there, but it's not here. So what am I going to do? Because it occurred to me that once I start carving this, I'm going to be further and further away from that surface. So these points here will probably be down about 7mm either side. So what I think I'm going to do is, instead of having this as the outer surface, I think I'm going to have this as the outer surface. So once I start carving it, I get closer to the book match surfaces instead of further away. May work, might not work, but you know, once you've made a number of instruments, you've got to make an educated guess. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start carving and use this as the outer surface. So wish me luck. So I made up this jig this time to hold the back for the top plate, and what I'm doing now is planing the walnut to a kind of wedge shape. This time I'm using this old Stanley plane. I think it's from the 50s that I found and have restored, and it's become one of my favourites, I must admit. So hopefully you can see that I've achieved the sort of wedge shape that I wanted to, and what I'm going to do now is plane across the grain here to try to put an angle in this direction. So with that initial shaping done, with the smoothing planes, I'm now using smaller planes, you know, these sort of fairly specialist planes, using those now to get the shape, checking against templates all of the time. And essentially, I shall keep going until it's done. So I guess I spent about 3.5 hours now using various planes. So what I'm going to do now is sand it, which will give me more of a curved surface. It will take away the kind of the facets that the sole of the plane uses, and then that will give me the opportunity to assess the shape and then maybe take some more of it. So I've got the back plate down to roughly what I want, and what you can see is I've drawn a grid on here, and what that's going to allow me to do is to go over it very accurately with this profile tool, So if I push that down, it gives me the profile, and then I can compare it to the other side and see whether or not there are any high or low points. And looking at that, I can see that I need to take a little bit out of here. And then if I compare, do it the other way around, and compare that side to this side, I think I also then need to take a little bit out of here. And then of course I need to compare it to the templates. And when I look at the templates, that actually confirms what I've just thought. We're high in this area, but high in this area. So essentially I'm going to go all the way along, map it out, mark on where I need to remove material. And I'm also going to do the same thing going across this way. And then once I've mapped all the high points, I can sand it or scrape it depending on how much material needs to be removed. And then I'll mark it out and do it again until I'm sure that the surface is exactly how I want it from the templates, and also symmetrical either side. That noise in the background that you keep hearing, that's my dehumidifier, keeping the workshop at a constant humidity. Right, so there is the back plate complete. I guess it's taken me about 8 hours of what is really quite physically hard work. But that said, it's also immensely satisfying to see the finished article. So once that's been glued on to the rim, I'll put the recurve on. So this edge is a little bit left a little bit thick, so the bindings will go on, and that will be a guide for me to carve the recurve, and I can do that confidently knowing that I've left that a bit thick. And a similar thing here, this kind of spine is going to go into the heel cap. I mean, there are obviously other ways of producing this sort of shape. You can use a copying router, which is a sort of a pantograph setup, or indeed many luthiers nowadays use CNC machinery. But you know, for me it's about me, the tools, the relationship of the wood, and actually I would just rather make these things by hand. And as I have a limited output, well then that suits me just fine. So there we have it, the finished walnut back for the next archtop mandolin. And now all I've got to do is repeat that process and carve the top plate. So see you in the next video, and thanks for taking the time to watch. Cheers.